This story comes from NBC News. Thousands of doctors urged the Senate to block RFK Jr. as health secretary for Trump administration. More than 15,000 doctors have signed a letter urging senators to vote against confirming RFK Jr., President-elect Donald Trump's pick for Secretary of Health and Human Services. Quote, the health and well-being of 336 million Americans depend on leadership at HHS that prioritizes science, evidence-based medicine, and strengthening the integrity of our public health system, the letter reads. RFK Jr. is not only unqualified to lead this essential agency, he is actively dangerous. I don't know, man. I like, a fucking whale head in every pot, you know?
Yeah, man. Fucking A, dude. Fucking A. I want to make sure that there's a fucking dead bear in every doctor's office.
Hey, if a bear can't ride a fucking bicycle through Central Park these days without dying of smallpox or whatever,
and then when they go to find it, there's just like used vaccine needles all.
Yeah, look, you would have to have fucking brain worms to vote for this guy to confirm him.
It's going to be such a farce, man.
Dude.
God, I love that we got
what a mess.
It would be the best. It would be that you get a fucking letter from 15,000 doctors that signed a letter. It'd been awesome if at the bottom it was just signed by Jay-Z. It's like, I got 15,000 doctors and RFK ain't one.
And he's not one.
He's not one. He's not a doctor.
Don't you hope that they brought them in like Santa Claus letters to courthouses in that movie? I forgot what movie. Miracle on 34th Street or whatever.
They're just pouring them on the fucking desk in the Senate. They're just pouring, and then a whale head accidentally falls out. Like, oh, sorry about that. Sorry, that's mine. That's mine.
That's my lunch
fucking
whale
amazing,
head.
dude. God, we're so stupid.
Dumbest timeline.
We're gonna put the dumb. It's like saying. It's like the Senate is basically there's a bag of grain and then there's a chicken and then there's the Senate and they're like, hey man, they're the fox. And they're like, don't worry, we know for sure you need to take the grain to shore. It's crazy. This guy's gonna be nuts. It's crazy, man. He is going to ruin a lot of shit. He's going to ruin a lot of shit.
It's the worst.
It's my hope. It's my great hope. There was a couple of places. I think it was No Illusions who said this when he was on the show when you were out. And he might be right. He had said one of RFK's greatest downfalls could be that he is too left on too many policies. And that bothers the right wingers. And they might not allow him in because they just think they don't like his opinions on abortion and other things that he thinks are, okay.
Yeah.
And doesn't fall in line with a typical right winger. And that might be his downfall. He's not like fucking Pete Hegseth, who's going to just fucking swallow the right's dick. He's kind of marches to his own tune.
Yeah. I think that he was politically the right's useful idiot.
Yeah.
I really do. And I think this Secretary of Health and Human Services was his prizey that he got,
Sure.
And I don't think that they care that much if he gets it because they already got what they needed from him.
That's interesting.
It's not like a Musk, right? And it's even not like a Hegseth. I think they're digging in on Hegseth in large part because they want to flex their muscle. This is a chance for him to say, hey, this is a really unpalatable, shitty, monstrous, unqualified candidate. We're going to get him through anyway as a way to fucking flex dick. Yeah. But for RFK, they already got what they needed out of RFK. He doesn't have any long-term value. He's not a billionaire. He's not like a Musk. So I actually think that they could jettison him.
Yeah, they could just tell him no.
Right.
And I think that'd be okay. I think he might just be brought up there and then they'll be like, no, we don't like your policies. And then they'll have an opportunity to grandstand about abortion and then turn him down and then get somebody else in there.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Stock up on your vaccines though. Stock up.
One chilling piece from this article that I want to read. This was written by, this is what Miller said. Miller said, RFK will be confirmed, and those who are spending their time undermining him will have no place and no voice at HHS. Good luck and best wishes to them.
And what
that means is if you're not on the fucking Trump train, we don't want to hear from you. I realize that there's a group of people out there. We're not reaching those people. Those people don't listen to this show.
Right.
But I realize that there's a group of people out there who need to hear that they're saying this, because we need to show at every turn that they're actively not having a government of the people, right?
Yes.
When you get in office, you need to pay attention to everything. Doctors need to listen to each other, right? Like, this entire group of people need to work together to make sure we have, the best healthcare that we can have in our current system. And if they're not working together and they're working unilaterally under one mind, that's not as good. And we, I think, as a nation, need to recognize that what is happening is that if you don't march to a certain tune, you're not going to be heard in this administration. You'll be actively ostracized. And we need to make sure that people know that that's a real fucking bad thing.
Yeah, man, 100%. When Obama got into office, for all of Obama's faults, he really followed the Lincoln example. That was what he wanted to do, right? He wanted to have people in his administration that specifically disagreed with him as a way to sort of have that intellectual safety, that check and balance. Yeah. And I think it's important to have people in our lives that are like that, right? And I'm not talking about MAGA goofballs. Those people are untouchable, unreachable.
Some of those people are just that they're
poisoned. Like, their minds are poisoned, right? But I have been thinking about this, that it would be good to have more people in our lives that challenge our views, that do not have that echo. And that's just as a person, just as a human being in the world. But my God, if you're setting public policy, if I'm setting policy, man, don't I want more people to challenge my views rather than less? Cecil, can I complain about vaccines for just a second?
Go ahead.
So, I'm a giant, crazy proponent of vaccines. I want all the vaccines. I want to drink vaccines. I want to shoot them into my fucking eyeballs. I do not want to catch diseases. So I want all the vaccines. It makes me so crazy that I can't get an RSV vaccine, even though RSV is going around and I have asthma, until I turn 60.
No shit.
They just won't. I asked my doctor, I'm like, dude, I got asthma. So I'm like, can I have the RSV? I don't want to get RSV. It would be very unpleasant for me to get a respiratory virus, right? I don't want that. And he's like, yeah, I'm sorry. I'd love to give it to you. He's like, I think it would be. But they test these vaccines sometimes only on the most vulnerable population. And if they're only tested on the most vulnerable population, then they're only approved for that population because that's the only cohort that they were tested within. But it's like, but I don't want to get it. So if it's safe for some 60-year-old guy, it's safe for me at 47.
I have an idea.
Yeah.
During the pandemic, there were people who were selling ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine. They were unethical doctors who were writing prescriptions for things they knew didn't work. Find one of those guys.
Yeah.
And be like, hey, I would like to get a vaccine.
I told him, I was like, I'll pay cash.
They
don't put it through my insurance.
They will show up at your house and then they will open their coat and there will be all kinds of needles inside.
Needles. I'll just be like,
and
a fucking
say,
porcupine.
Which one would you like?
And I'll say, yes. The same is true of shingles. I can't get the shingles vaccine until I'm 50.
Yeah.
And that was because the shingles vaccine was only tested on a cohort of people 50 years and older. But increasingly, younger people are getting shingles. I had a mild case of shingles.
Yeah, you had mentioned,
You can get it more than once. I don't really want to have shingles. I didn't like it.
You weren't a fan.
I was not a fan. It was a little, thank God I had a very mild case, but it was unpleasant. It felt like I had a sunburn on one part of my leg that just wouldn't go away all the time. That's all I had. Most people get a lot worse than that. I was very grateful. But I was trying to get that vaccine.
Yeah.
I almost got the fucking chickenpox vaccine, just give me that one. It's close enough.
We'll take the lesser one.
Yeah.